Right. We'll see. Yeah. So it gives it a little indication. And real life, yes. Hello, now then, DVD and Film blog, Jack Williams. Hello, welcome back to the second live stream. Absolutely. So yeah, just warming up. So we're doing okay. That's brill. Just making sure everything's set up and everything else. Everything working in order as needed last time actually. Seems to be doing okay. Pretty good. Yeah, I think we're doing fantastic. Is everything okay at your end, or anything else? The connection's okay, or is the pitch quality a bit iffy, a bit pixelated as last time? Just let me know. Well, thirdish if you want to be technical. Thirdish, yeah. So it's fair enough. So yeah, but you can hear me properly. It's just visually, it's just not the best, really. You know, not the best quality ever. All those things. I think it's just how it is, really, how it's streaming and everything else. But it seems to be doing its job. Pretty all right. So okay, nicely done. Just checking. Yep, good. Internet's all right. That's fine. It's just to make sure what happened last time. Of course, it's all lost connection. Then sort of came back and sort of everything went skew-iff really. But I think now it seems to be all right actually. Seems to be doing good. The image appears to be freezing. Oh right, I think that could just be the restream the studio thing. I would say probably. I think the internet is all right. I think it's just restream really, but. Am I just like still images? Like if I'm moving my hand very much, like is it just constantly freezing everything else, or is it buffering? Is this freezing or is it buffering at your end? Am I still in motion? Yeah, it appears to be working out. That's okay. I think it's just rejigging itself really. It's sort of getting used to it. I think it's only like 4 minutes in this is. So yeah, it'll work out. It'll probably work and see how it goes. I think it's just readjusting itself really. Indeed. And it goes again. It'll be working and it goes again. It'll be one of those things really. We'll have to manage, of course. If I'm still audible, that's absolutely that'd be okay. I'm still live. You can still hear me. Visually, be all right. What we might do is I want to just go do like a live taste test or something, like a live drink thing, because a good friend of mine, I've known for 20 years, of course, Dogo, who's subscribed to the channel, paid a few videos, of course, here and there. In the vlog videos I've done, he and his missus came to the house just before I was leaving on Sunday morning and gave me like a box of like Lush Brew, really. There was stuff like Pilsner, Pale Ale, and there's like IPA there was. But one I wanted to try was this lemon and lime. What was it called? Sea salt sour. Don't know if you can see that, or is the image is still frozen. I thought I might just do a little taste test really of it and see what might come of it. You know, it's a small batch based in Wales, 3.9%, and might as well see how it goes really. Indeed. Lithic Brewing. I might see how it does actually. I never tried that before actually. So, is everyone still struggling with the freezing? Of course, is it just like us? It's it's the freezing, isn't it, on Restream or whatever? Could be. Who knows? But I might as well do a taste test of this. So again, it's live on camera. I might as well try it and see what it does. Unfiltered and unfined for ultimate flavour, it says. Featuring a gentle sourness and a bright zingy citrus character, this sour beer is designed for the ultimate refreshment and drinkability. A small addition of pure sea salt rounds everything off, giving you a delicious balanced citrusy sour beer. Enjoy. So, let's crack this open. No, speed of my arm a little bit there. A bit foamy. Let's see that. No, probably not. Bit foamy. This thing smells of beer still. Right. Yes, it smells of beer. It does definitely. Well, we'll see what happens. Actually, before I do, I might put that in just in case. If anyone's sort of, they can probably still hear it. I don't know if unless they just look at a still image of me. Don't know. But let's try this actually. It's actually quite foamed up out of the hole. I bet Benjamin Babish would be annoyed because there's no kosher salt. No, kosher salt. I'd never heard of kosher salt actually. Probably heard of other stuff, other different types of salts, but not kosher salt. I've never heard that actually. But it's foaming like mad. Don't know if I could see that actually. If I can, yeah, that's quite foaming up there, isn't it? Anyway, let's try it out. Oh. I get the sourness out of it. You do get like a grainy, salty taste to it. You do actually. There's nothing to it. It's like, I'll tell you what. It's like, it doesn't taste anything at all actually. You get the sour and salty taste, sort of tones out of it, but no actual flavour. Not like a citrus flavour. I thought it might, be a bit more fruity, I would say. A bit more of that zingy, that's what it probably says, zingy citrus or whatever on the side here, but it doesn't really do much, really. It's not bad. Doesn't taste horrible or anything. It just tastes a bit bland, really. But there we go. Definitely can use that sourness, really. I can. Jeez. So yeah. So that's one thing. That's our little taste test really done. Well, my taste test. One thing I wanted to do on the live stream was, I thought planning this, I might as well do it actually, is do another recent finds thing. Like rather than do a video, I can do this live actually. I've got them here now, actually. I've got a few things actually I picked up recently. Well, some stuff recently finds from eBay, and a couple of stuff I bought from recently, I think a couple of days ago actually, but might as well show them now. So what have we got? Don't know if they can still pick up here or not. Let's do this actually. So I might have shown these a few times before. I do recent fan videos, of course. I'm a novel collector, of course. More specifically with Doctor Who, like in the Wilderness period, very much, and I thought might as well show these actually. So this is the first one. So this is the only new Virgin Adventure I actually recently picked up. Actually, this is Christmas on the National Planet by Lawrence Miles. This came out published in, when did this come out? July 1996. This was. I'm trying to think on top of my head now because Happy Ended of May 96. I think so. Yeah, July 1996. This is part of the Psi Powers arc. This was to do with what I can remember. To do with like do with the Brotherhood of the Infinite Flesh, like a story arc involving them, psychic powers, everything like and some war going on in the 26th century or whatever. You know, from Chris and Ross's time as well. Interesting. I do like this. It's an interesting cover it is actually, even though this was not the original cover to go for. Actually, there's an original version of this, but it's like a yellowish cover, and it's got like a picture of a crystal ball with the Seven Doctors' face in it, and the crystal ball is being held by a metal claw apparently. So, but they thought it was unacceptable. That was done by a guy called Jim Cummins. This one's done by Mike Posen. And to be fair, it doesn't really do much, really. I would say it's not the most relevant cover. You know, Indians, temples, whatever. But it's just one of the things. On the back here, it's beaten up as hell because I think this novel goes for like some high prices. I think later books like these ones go for high prices. They do, really. More so, I would say. You know, how much did I pay for this? About 25 quid, I think, I paid for this for. But it's very hard to get. I think it depends on the print. Obviously, 1996 that time, TV movie came out, and the BBC was sort of thinking about bringing their own novels, novels to stores and everything else, and didn't renew Virgin's license very much. So, but I think these later ones are very sought after they are. I was looking to get this one. It's battered as hell. It's creased here, tall here, which I don't really mind really much. And yeah, if I can find the thing, apparently it says it belongs to where's it at? There. I don't know what that says. Library of Nicholas K. Zanz. Nicholas K. Zanz, I think he's known as, on this. So he's probably got for the library or someone's personal library. I have no idea actually. But that's nice. I do like that the later designs I think are quite interesting actually. They've got this more swirl to them. If you can, on the back he's more prominent, that vortex look that they use for the Benny books as well. I think that's pretty interesting actually, more so. Indeed. I do like the cover design as well. They have the Service McCoy logo as well. That's perfect actually because it's like an outline of that. It all works well nicely. It does, especially with the dark colours. It works, pops out. It does. Indeed. Lawrence Miles, quite an interesting author, very much, very controversial in some places as well. He invented the faction paradox, which actually is sort of the first essence of faction paradox alluded in this book here. And they become a big part when the EDAs come along with stuff like The War in Heaven, you get Alien Bodies, you get Interference, 2 books of that, and it sort of goes on that really. You know, but I think with the 8th Doctor books, they became more convoluted, very much heavily focused on. There's like multiple arcs going everywhere, tossing and turning. Again, War in Heaven, Faction Paradox, the Dark Sam stuff. What else? Sabbath, which is like Council of 8 stuff as well. Just hodgepodge mixture of stuff. You know, the whole thing of exploding Gallifrey in the Ancestor Cell. The Doctor destroys Gallifrey to prevent the faction paradox from, again ripping time apart or something. You know, ends up getting amnesia, then lives on the what do you call it, like an Earth arc. Where he starts from the Victorian era and then ends up in 2001. He ends up living through history. instead of other books, and he's trying to get his memories back or whatever. Well, actually, no, try and be himself, but not getting his memories back at all. I think that's how it's meant to go, actually. Or Justin Richards, the editor, mentioned, I would say. But yeah, obviously he hasn't done much since he's done Fashion Paradox, or edited Fashion Paradox, really. But he's been a bit vocal on like how New Who has been changed, over the couple of years, especially more so. Stuff like Jim Morton as well, like doing like a ranty Facebook post and on Twitter, or whatever. It's like that sort of thing, really. Not that sort of area doctor is not their thing or anything, just like that. So that's the one version of Adventure I got recently from eBay. Might get around to reading that at some point. Now next up I've got some BBC books. These are their past Doctor Adventures. Now these are from this. I got this as a bundle very recently, a couple of weeks ago actually, and I thought I might as well get these actually because I've been very on and off with BBC books really because of what they do, especially the Eighth Doctor stuff really. Because I think I mentioned beforehand. Past Doctor stuff I think is sort of alright, really. But I do have 4, so I've only got these ones to do. It's the first ones I've ever got, actually. I remember seeing these BBC books many years ago in my secondary school library. I only seen 2 in the wild, really. The 88 book, 8th Doctor Adventure book, I remember was Training Future Spanman's Parking, and the past Doctor Adventures book they had was Dreams of Empire by Justin Richards, which had the 2nd Doctor, Jamie and Victoria in. And there was another one I saw in a shop somewhere, which is Prime Time by Mark Tucker, another 7th Doctor one, and Ace. Sort of, I think it's like After Survival it is. I think, we would have been because it's been bloody mastered, isn't it? Trying to recover from his cheer virus. But might as well show these for you anyway. So there's only 4 of these because I've got these in a bundle off eBay recently, so I might as well show them. So first we've got is Illegal Alien. This is from Mike Tucker and Robert Perry, Mike Tucker or Robert Perry and Mike Tucker. Mike Tucker, of course, was the visual effects artist during the 80s, especially like the latter half Colin Baker and most of the Sylvester McCoy era. Robert Perry was one of his writing partners, I think at the time. So they did quite a few things they did actually in terms of I think just novels really. They did what was it? I have it somewhere. A short story they did called Question of Pajamas from Decalogue 2. But this is the very first novel. This is indeed. This came out in 1997, October 1997. This was, so it's the earliest BBC Doctor Who BBC novels. These are, because you get like a circle. Well, for the PDAs, of course, you get this vortex motif going on, very much like a swirl motif. Whereas the Eighth Doctor books have like a circular. I think about them like in the Eight Doctors, you have the Silly Rassilon. Vampire Science, you've got that I don't know what we call it, the State of San Francisco on that thing. Body Snatchers, you've got the like Aretha Holly with a Saigon face in the middle. Genocide, you've got a clock face with a skull sticking out. And you've got War of the Daleks, you had an iris with 2 darks on each side. And I think Alien Bodies as well came out in 1997. I think it was like a minuscule with DNA or something, or genetics or whatever going around. Whereas these ones were sort of swirls, they were. And it sort of continued for a while actually. I think some of them do, some of them don't. Some of the Doctor books don't. They sort of stopped doing that formula in a way. I think it's after Alien Bodies that sort of stopped it. Or was it Kursal? I think. Something like that really. Don't know. But they sort of continue with this sort of thing. I do actually like this sort of like this cover design anyway. The sort of metallic watery version of the logo, swirly font, of course, at the back. Also, you got an old BBC ident on there as well. So, and that was when they were sort of rebranding very much at that time. Indeed. One other thing to mention about this story in particular is that it was originally meant to be it was actually a television story, a television script, again by Matt Tucker and Robert Perry, although Matt Tucker went on a pseudonym called Greg Ashby, he did, because he didn't want anyone to find out he'd written a a script for the show. And it was actually written in 1989, around the same time as Ian Briggs was doing Curse of Fenric. And it was submitted in to Andrew Cartmel, and I think it would have been used in later on, I think in like season 28 or something, because the feeling was, I remember with, when looking at series 27, of course, you had stories already been submitted anyway, or were meant to be used. So stuff like Earthade, Ice Time, Crown of the Century. The fourth one was not sort of confirmed, but it might have been Elixion, which was written by someone called Robin Mukherjee, obviously. But the other three were written mainly by the core team, really. So like Ben Aronovich, Mark Platt, and Andrew Cartmel. So this would have been used in like season 28 or something like that, I think, or later on. If after season 27, Sylvester McCoy would have regenerated into Richard Griffiths. And this would have been sort of used, maybe. I don't know, actually. I'll have to wait and see. Indeed. But I got this got recommended. This got recommended by a few people, of course, namely Billy Garrett John. If you remember the review of Death, really, it's interesting stuff actually. Because I answered. He said some questions on Twitter or something like that. This is about a couple of weeks ago. This was, and I said, you know, what are your favorite books on and audios you have in your collection or your own? For audios, he mentioned Holy Terror, Master, and Deadlight. So 2 Rob Sheeran plays and 1 Joe Lidster play. And for the books, he mentioned the Target novelisation of Rose and this. He also mentioned when he did the Hugh New podcast with Josh Carr. So there we go. But I need to get around to read it. I'll probably read this next, actually. But it's nice, actually. Nice one. And it says it's a feature the same Doctor and Ace plus the Sidemen. This adventure takes place after Survival. So it's after the season 26. So it's a season 27, 28 story, whatever, in a way. So next up we got is Hollow Men. The Hollow Men, sort of named after T.S. Eliot's poem, really. Written by Keith Toppin and Martin Day. They were sort of doing a few things they were at the time. This one has seen better days. It's got some rumor around it. Second hand, so what you can do. Again, more that swirl technique on there. So this is from 1998. I probably think this is number 10. This is Illegal Alien was number 5. That was in the PDA series. So this one, I guess. So yeah. I'm just trying to think. Keith Toppin. I'm trying to think what Keith Toppin actually did. He did written for a Decalogue story. He written something for the Decalogue. He did, and I think that's about it. Really. But we also Martin Day actually was sort of first in the way because he written the Menagerie for Virgin Misadventures with Second Doctor Jimmy and Zoe solely, and afterwards he and Toppin sort of teamed up and they did a novel which originally featured Paul Cornell, but later on just created to themselves, which was The Devil and Goblins from Neptune, which was the very first PDA that was released in June 1997, which the Third Doctor, Liz, and Unit. So after Inferno, and obviously they returned to do this one. So this one's actually a season 26 story because it's set between the Curse of Fenric and Survival, and yeah, so it's within that, of course, and it's also meant to be like a sort of sequel to The Awakening from season 21. So a bit more stuff like that, really. Interestingly. You can see the new BBC logos on there. This is from 1998, so the rebranding sort of came to force. Yeah, just a really interesting one. I've actually never got around to that one yet. Indeed. But I might do eventually at some point. It's just there as part of the bundle. Book number 3 is The Quantum Archangel. This is from Craig Hinton. This came out in 2001. Notice the covers are changed, really, on the back. Indeed. This features the Sixth Doctor and Mel, and this adventure takes place between the TV stories The Trial of a Time Lord and Time the Rani. It's also a sequel to the TV story The Time Monster from season 9. So yes, a sequel to The Time Monster. What are we going to do about that? I don't know. Craig Hinton is creative writer. He invented the term fanwank. He did, and it basically, written some stuff very much like that. I know he ran some stuff for Virgin. Christocephalus was the first one. Then he did Manila Rights, again, another six-daughter Mel story they did. And he did God Engine in 1996, just after, in between Happy Endings and Christmas on a National Planet. That featured the Ice Warriors and supposedly the Daleks in there as well. So yeah, not much about this really, although it might be later. I don't know. 2001 this came out. If I can find anything in just between, no, not really. So 2001, that's about it really. Obviously, these covers are done by a company called Black Sheep on here, and yeah, not the best really. I would probably say the early stuff is more better than this one really. I think it's interesting. I just find it a bit bland really in a way. There we go. So Quantum Archangel. And the final one, of course, from the PDA range I've got is Superior Beings by Nick Walters. This came out, let me find it, 2001 again, so 197 of 198, album 2 from 2001. Nick Walters, Bristol writer, he is. Sort of came in after, towards the end, in the Benny era actually, with Paul Leonard. Paul Leonard was sort of his mentor really, and the same with Jim Walter was Paul Leonard's mentor anyway, in a way. So carry on that sort of weird Bristolian legacy or something like, influencing writers or bringing projects on, not like apprentices or anything like that. I know Nick Walters done some. He did. What's that one? The one thing I was thinking was Dry Pilgrimage with Paul Leonard, which I've written for, which was one of the Benny ones. In '98, I think it was released. He did other stuff like he did Dominion. He written Fear Itself, which was another past documentary featured the 8th Doctor, but at that point, Christopher Eccleston was around. At that point, yeah, quite an interesting cover it is. Superior Beings, sort of, can you think, would it be a Dalek story? It isn't really. It's quite different, really. This features the 5th Doctor and Perry. So this is between Planet of Fire and the Cave of Androzani. Fits in that weird little gappage, which seems weird. It seems more comfortable now with Big Finish when they did stuff like that back in the day, and also novels as well. Sometimes they've done quite a few actually like that. Indeed. I'll finish off with this last book, of course, and this is Red Dwarf. Yes, I do watch Red Dwarf. I think it's good actually. Early stuff's good. Dave's stuff can be hit or miss really. So yeah, this is Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers. So this is when this came out. I think it's in first published. I'll probably say this is the original '89 version. This is a, what do you call it? Novel, but it's expanding on the story of Red Dwarf for Dave Lister. And it features bits and pieces from other televised stories. So stuff like, again, The End, the very first one, Future Echoes. Me Too, I think, is another one as well that's included in this book. I haven't really read it fully. Yeah, but they did describe it actually. So it's like a weird omnibus anthology thing, or whatever you call it. Or just an omnibus thing. They basically just put key moments in or something. Indeed. Yeah, it's like that really. It goes on for quite a bit actually. Quite a lot of chapters. Indeed, about 298 pages on this thing. But I thought, such an Oxfam, I thought might as well get it actually. It's interesting. Well, yeah, why not? I might read it at some point really, but yeah, thought as well get it. Just to finish off with this recent finds thing, well, DVD box set anyway. So I don't know if anyone's interested really. So I found this in CEX, Doctor Who. This is series 1 to 4 box set, 23 disc set. I saw this. I thought, really, and I never actually said this when it first came out. So it's quite a bit of an anomaly for me. I thought it's cheap. It's only £15. And it's got all 4 seasons. So it's basically almost all the Davies era, apart from the specials, the 2009 specials in it. So you basically got that sort of stuff anyway. It comes with a book as well, like a massive DVD book anyway. And yeah, interesting. Might as well try. But there we go. Also, sort of slides in as well, like just like so, like that. Ties end as a sign. When did this came out? Actually, I'm just trying to think. 2009 this came out, so towards the end of the Davies era anyway, so yeah, that's interesting. I believe they say it's still in print as well. I've seen it in HMV a lot, really. I always felt like they sort of discontinued this with this actually, because obviously they do them singly now or anything, or very much. That sort of thing. You see, like in like the redone art, it's like that sort of thing. Really, I thought it'd be like a weird thing that's sort of just brought out and never since then again. Really, only in 2009. Really. Speaking of which, actually, I think it's handy. It's also handy as well because I do think these sort of work. They're like slipcovers because they basically use the original artwork they do. So like obviously this and this. Let me show you. The disc are very much the same, really, as you get in that TARDIS box set at the time, which I remember getting many years ago. But you said, obviously over time it did dismantle, of course. The DVDs, like that whole sticky glue thing they used to have. My God, on there, yeah, it's been out there since more was done. Oh yeah, indeed. Yeah, I think it's just basically a time really before they sort of reissued them again with Blu-ray steelbooks and everything else. I think it's the other time this can probably just get this. But it's actually quite decent actually. This is just series 1. So that's the original artwork for that one. Obviously, because they never use this stuff anymore, really. I would say on the back. I'm not too sure if they actually use these in the box set. Maybe, I don't know, because I've actually bought the box sets. I remember getting the volumes. I did. So individual ones. I remember getting the individual DVD releases of these ones actually from Series 2, which I fondly remember on that front. Indeed. Series 3 again. Sort of similar. I think they are quite similar. I know the US uses the old artwork, or really the US Blu-rays use the artwork. Oh, that's interesting, because I always thought they might use the new ones, of course. Like, let me think. Again, the ones that they tend to use, like for Series 1, it's like red. Series 2 is like more like a green. Series 3, of course, is blue with the dark around the middle, and Series 4, maybe much. I always thought the might use that one because it's a bit more colourful, a bit more out there, really. I would say. But yeah, interesting. I think it's also quite nice actually because I actually do own. No, they're more likely to use their repackaged old disc masters. Okay, I would say so. What was it going on about? Oh yeah. It's interesting because it's quite happy I got some physical stuff for Series 3 and 4 because I never actually did actually. I only had Series 1 and 2, and I think what else they had? I had Series 1, 2, 6, then 8, 9, and 10. Those are the only sort of new DVDs that box sets I've fully actually ever owned, really. Series 3, I remember copying them off the DVD many years ago, back in the day in 2007. Probably still have them, but they don't work anymore, really. I'm just not sure why. Series 4, I've still got one, actually. It's a pouch DVD of the Fires of Pompeii, which I've still got somewhere. That's the only episode I've actually, I think still works, actually. The only episode of Series 4 I've ever got. Mind you, I got the, what do you call them? Sun single disc ones of like Smith and Jones, Blink, and Utopia. Nothing Series 4 or anything, but there we go. The UK Blue box set is like £200 or something ridiculous like that. The UK Blu-ray box, oh god, interesting. I would say. Yes. Yes, we've got Ben Freeman's in the chat. Hello again, mate. Nice to see you again. I actually think, yeah, it's something like 200. Jesus Christ, yeah. Again, that's scalpers for you. eBay scalpers. You always look on eBay if it's like I mentioned before with some novels. Of course, they tend to go for high prices. Like some stuff like from My Six or anything like that cost about £80 just for one book. Just depends on the original story, really. It depends on its rarity, really, I would say. I think 97 stuff is more hard to find, like Long Barrel or Dying Days, because the how much, well, like a very short, they had a short print what they did, so getting those are quite limited. Sorry, I'm 34 minutes late. I was out in the garden. Fair enough, mate. Yeah, enjoying the weather as always. Same as you, because it's been quite warm, very, very hot today. Because obviously it's the 1st of June anyway. I've been doing the same. I've been enjoying myself. I've been sorting the garden out for a bit and just doing a few bits and pieces around the house. So yeah, there we go. Now the series to one sex set, which is still in print. Oh really? Oh okay. I was just thinking of what am I thinking? The Davies or something. I didn't actually know they actually did one up to 7. I think, you know, for the Matt Smith era, which is still in print. Okay, I never actually knew that. I never seen that actually, so I don't know. Again, it probably might be a limited thing, unless it's sold out quickly. Really, it's like I don't know if I might end up being. I don't know actually. If you may recall from last week's stream, I was talking about my Beatles vinyl collection. You were actually, yes, absolutely. Your 7-inch singles and favorite Beatles album, and everything else. That sort of thing. Indeed. Why have you obtained some new stuff as well? Jeez. In print. No, I've never seen that actually, so I don't really know. Because I think because the only ones I saw think of for Blu-ray is those German releases that they released, like of the part of the eras really. I know fans go apeshit over the collection box sets. I'm in a corner going, meh, yeah, well, fair enough. Yeah, I'm sort of the same as well. Like, you know, although to be fair, I've sort of gone into the habit of actually getting them actually, because I got season 14 recently for about 65 quid out of CEX really. And also I think I'm tempted against season 24 on the 21st. Who knows? Have to wait and see. Even though they're actually releasing those, even though with the issues, I still have no interest in buying them. Well, yeah, I mean, I have no interest in buying like other stuff, like the special editions that they sometimes release. Like there was the Enemy of the World and Power of the Daleks as well. The redone ones, very much all. Well, Enemy of the World had special features added to it, really, new artwork and everything else. Whereas I just, you know, I'm here for the concept of the story. Don't really care if special features on or anything. But that's what people want to collect, really. You know, like maybe have a decent art cover or something like that, or maybe add some special features like the cast and crew talk at the time of this episode. You know, so I don't see the point really. It's like I really don't see the point of like the Web of Fear coming out, even though there's element in episode 3. You know, could have just done that beforehand, really. But obviously, I just don't know really. I'm just more hoping for like new classic stories coming out really, rather than have Web of Fear. Did you see what I said about the Beatles Please Please Me album? No, I didn't actually. No. Even though it's one of my favourites. Season 24 isn't as bad as everyone says, but Time of the Rani is the worst part. It's true, really. I would say Time of the Rani is quite sort of bland, and even Dragonfire to some extent. I don't know. Time of the Rani and Dragonfire are sort of like not the best ones out of season 24, whereas Paradise Towers and Delta the Bannerman, I would say they're the highlights of season 24, actually, for me. Paradise Towers, I think it's great. It's like, again, it's doing the riff on J.G. Ballard's High Rise, which is interesting. And Delta and the Bannerman, I don't know, I feel like there's a weird nostalgic thing about that I really enjoy, you know. But it's pretty something, really, I would say, you know. Interesting music. Also, the film's a Welsh holiday cap as well, which is on Barry Island, which is pretty interesting. I prefer the visual art for the Enemy of the World because it explains the story better and doesn't give away the ending. That is true. Yes, that is actually true. With the special edition, when Salamander gets sucked out, doesn't he? Yeah, I might agree with that one actually. You know, it's just like, you know, for the original one, it's just Salamander and the Doctor, of course. And it's all that that works nicely. It does, whereas that special edition song again gives it away. It does. Yeah, indeed. I know some people complain about like when they did the animated versions, of course, of the animated reconstructions of the episodes. Some complain about the art, but that's been sort of like limited, really. Will that be? Does everyone find that? I was saying that copy I've got on vinyl is a '76 reissue, and you thought it was originally released in 1963. Interesting, actually. So, well, it could be like a. That's interesting. I always thought when I got my version of Please Please Me, I sort of think, oh, good, 1963 copy, that's very good. I looked at it, it's like, Parfum label, but I found out through a guy called Eric Calero, who's got a YouTube channel called Vinyl Rewind, and he mentioned this is box set that come out in '78, the Beatles box set or whatever, and some copies, some box sets they tend to sell, they have like versions of the album, like a repressed in the 1980s or something, really. So, and also you have to indicate it on the inner sleeve, I think. So, the version I got from Please Please Me is from 1985, I think my version is, in stereo. Just a standard stereo one, nothing extravagant or anything like that, or different, but there we go. And my copy of Please Please Me is on the platform label. I think the more it tends to British stuff, that's, yeah, indeed. Obviously mine's just standard Parlophone stuff that they release, and it's also thin as well. The vinyl record's quite thin, of course, it's an 80%. Paradise Towers, I think, is an underrated gem, but I always have a thing for sci-fi horror when there's a cute aesthetic and yet something sinister is happening in the background. That is true. I mean, that sort of works in a way. I'm trying to think what other stories that sort of do that, really. As a cute aesthetic, but again, it's sinister as well. I probably think. What am I thinking of? God. What's the one I'm thinking? I think of like other stuff as well. Yes, I'm one of those 5 people on Earth who don't mind Johnny Vegas. The episode of Red Dwarf. Okay. I'm trying to think. What episode was that, actually? I'm just trying to think what it was. It's the day of Red Dwarf. I think, what was it? It's season 12. It's series 12, isn't it? He's trying to think what episode it is. Because it's not the first one to go to a place and everyone's got the evil taken out of them. It's awesome thing. Because the only one I can remember from the Dave era, from recently, I think, is the one when they turned into like Crichton or something, or Mechanoids. James Buckley's in it for some strange reason, I think. But I think that might be the first episode of series 12, I think. I just don't know the names, really, or anything like that. I'm just trying to think of anything else that's sort of like that, in terms of going back to the Paradise Towers thing. Cute aesthetic, can get something sinister. I don't think Happiness Patrol might be another one as well. Like, again, that might be like cute, a bit cute and everything else, but also the one where the ship where criticism is outlawed. I've never. Oh, okay. I've never actually go to ship. Okay, I've never actually seen that one, so I don't really know. I think those are the 2 episodes. I think those 2 episodes I mentioned beforehand. The one we get evil taken out, like the evil in have like someone like Adolf Hitler or something like that. Because he's called nice and cheerful, and the one we call Mechanoids. I think that's the only 2 I can remember. Oh, and that last one, what's it called? Skipper. It's called. It's when Rimmer goes around different points. Like he's sick and tired of the crew, of course, and he decides to go to like find the perfect. Well, so he goes to, like different dimensions and realities or something. Happiness Patrol is another good story. It is actually, yeah, because it's a parody of the Thatcher era. It's parody of the Thatcher era. I do like the Candyman. That's a very good. I love the Candyman. It's a very interesting design. Sort of like a demonic version of Bertie Bassett. Who are your favourite Red Dwarf characters? Mine is listed from Cass and Holly and Crichton. So the main cast, of course, yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, Dave Lister is really, again, brilliant. A very brilliant creation by Grant and Naylor. Really good stuff. I mean, the sloppiest human on earth. I mean, Craig Charles pacing to brilliance. Really that, just fantastic. Really good stuff. Crichton, I do really enjoy because again, Robert Llewellyn, brilliant stuff. Funny enough, The one when the corporation takes over Red Dwarf. Okay, cool. Okay, interesting. Mr. Flibble, without question, Mr. Flibble. From Quarantine, yes. Oh, that's good. Isn't when he's wearing like some tartan dress and army boots and a wig. Oh, that's great. That is. So yeah, I think Dave Lister, I think, is a really good one. Crichton, I do enjoy in a way. I do like Christine Kachansky actually as well. I don't think people probably like her as much really, but I do actually think she's interesting really. You know, when you're talking season 7, series 8, in a way. I'm not really a fan of like Claire Grogan's sort of version in the early series, like series 1, series 2. You know, but I find it quite interesting. A lot of people tend to think really bit meh really, but I don't mind. I do like Kachansky actually in a way. What else I was going to think of? Really, there's some, you know, what else? Again, think of Red Dwarf and think of any other good characters. Really, I mean, I'm thinking of like other characters like guest stars and whatever. God, Charles Augustus as Queeg. I think he's good. I think, you know, very sort of authoritarian, very just, you know, very on the nose and everything else, and you know, makes Lister and Rimmer. I think mainly Rimmer go around the ship really as like a drill instructor and everything else, like man teacher. I think he's pretty interesting. Craig Ferguson, I think that's from. God, is that Better Than Life? I'm trying to think again. It's been a while since I've watched these episodes. He's in that. I think he's quite good actually, Craig Ferguson, in that episode. Don Henderson in series 7. I think he's that one. It was called Beyond the Joke. I think that's good. Hey Swimmer and Dwayne Dibley. Who else? I'm just thinking of the other ones like from Back to Reality, like Dwayne Dibley. That's a good design actually. Very, you know, bald haircut, teeth, and you know, has to wear like iron flares, woolly jumper, and plastic sandals. That's a really good one. That's a really good stuff actually. That is. I used to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the other two actually. There was it Jake Bullitt from Back to Reality, Crichton's version. Yeah, and 17 RPMs of songs including Tapers Picnic and Henry Hall and a couple of. So that's what you picked up recently. Okay. 78. I don't really collect 78 actually. I'm only just going to get 7 inches, and I've got a couple of 10 inches. I do, but it's mainly 7 inches and 12 inches I tend to get really. I do have a couple of 10 inches. I do somewhere. I do. Who else? I do like Captain Hollister as well sometimes. You know, Mac McDonald. I think that's his name. I think that's again sort of pretty good one. Peterson, Mark Williams as well. Apparently, he's in it. Tend to get reference a lot, of course. You know, Pearson's legacy and everything else. I think that's from a YouTuber who's doing like vlogs on Red Dwarf. I used to watch sometimes. My turntable can play 78. You know, I think most can actually. I think the one I've got elsewhere does that. I play 78 as well, but I never actually buy them really. I don't know. I think it's about what they like really. You know, if they bring them back in a big way with new music, I probably might consider, but I just don't know really. You know, 12 inches, 10 inches, 7 inches is all my thing really. You know, in terms of preferred versions really. 78's, you know, runs about 45. You know, 45 is 3.5 RPM. You know, 3.5 RPMs really. I have a Goodman's Revived turntable, which was sold at B&M stores, and I got it there a few months ago. Oh, really? Does it work? Is it like sort of like cheap modern stuff really? in a way. One of those things, and you just plug a USB drive in or something. Because I remember getting some for my 16th birthday one time, which was like a USB Norwich, it was known as. Great player. I did enjoy that one. It was very old-fashioned looking, it was. And the other things it did was it had a USB drive on one side. I think on the when it's facing, it's on the left-hand side, on the side, and a built-in radio as well. Yeah, but I think that one only played 45s and 33 RPM. I think it's been a long time since I checked that one out because after that one I think it's still around. It's just never been used really. But I remember getting it from a store once. Maybe where was it? A music store in my shopping centre many years ago. Not long then actually. What was it now? It's now a COVID jab vaccination facility now actually. If when I look back on it now, it's like, you know, it's been a few things. Christmas shop, it's been just empty really. Now it's become a vaccination centre now. So yeah. Christ. Still drinking this stuff. Bloody hell. I'm trying the IPA yet actually. I'll do it another time. Just making sure. Let's think about this actually. How's the weather at your ends anyway? Like, how you find it? Is it nice and sunny? Is it hot? Are you facing any just great weather, heat waves or anything like that? Because it's 1st of June, isn't it? So, how's it your ends anyway? I know Mr. Freeman was in the garden just beforehand anyway. It's sunny in my area, so like quite hot heat, you know, very sort of like over 20 degrees, hot sun, and just everything really. I think around here in the Lake District as well, it's very much like that really. Very sort of like, you know, summer's just really come. It's milder today than yesterday. So around your area is a bit more colder, a bit more lower. Kind of thinking. Tomorrow it's supposed to be hotter. Yeah, I think it's meant to be hotter. I think at some point I got told, I think around Thursday, so it's meant to be raining around my area. I think, but I don't know. I don't really believe about really. I find British weather unpredictable, really. But I have to wait and see what happens on that. If it goes right, I think it's sunny really because it's 1st of June. Obviously, we had a lot of rain and stuff around here in May, so see what happens there. Yeah, who knows where. Hopefully we'll get nice. I think it's gone quite well, and everyone's out and about and everything else, just enjoying themselves. Bit of freedom, very much. It's still hot, but not as hot as yesterday. I can still feel it's still quite hot, you know, could be a bit humid. I think it's still cooling down now where I am now, really. But I think just today it was just hot, just like instant heat, like walking through a desert, really. Where I am, really. May is the most appreciated month in terms of weather. I think May's a mixed bag in a way, because obviously last year we had a heat wave, complete heat wave, and that was fantastic. That was interesting, you know. But obviously this year we had complete, you know, just rain, just clouds, very much around here. I don't know about where everyone's area is. I mean, May's decent. It's a decent month. It's obviously unappreciated, but it's in between that gap between, you know, like March and April, of course, and then you got June. So it's like a ginger stepchild that way, really. It's like I'm not thinking of. I think it's like September in a way. I mean, September is sort of probably a similar thing with May, unappreciated, really. Start of autumn. I mean, nothing ever happens really, you know. Because obviously with, what do you think? I mean, also in like May, April, you get used to a bit of a random question, but if you had a cat, what would you call it? If you had a cat, I'm just trying to think actually. What's a perfect name for a cat? If it's a male, Buster. I'll call it Buster. If it's a female, I'll call it Lucy. I will call it either Cat, Frankenstein, or Fritz. The last one, only 5 people will get the reference. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Frankenstein. Yeah, either Cat, Frankenstein. Yeah, Frankenstein, Lister's cat, of course, and obviously Fritz the cat. Yeah, well, Bakshi's creation. Absolutely. The names for mine actually were sort of referenced a couple of years ago. I think kittens many years ago, back in the 90s, I would say. And 3 again, Buster, Lucy, and there was a grey one. There was a what was it? I'm trying to recheck now. Actually, there's a black and white one called Buster, green eyes, a bit like Felix the cat, really, in a way. There was Lucy, who was tortoise colour with blue eyes, and there was a grey and white one called Gizmo. Where I remember this is going back in the 90s, so I'm like, oh, what do you think? 95, 96, I would say, roughly, in a way. There's still photograph evidence to prove it. There's one of the things with Buster sticking out of a boot somewhere many years ago. Another name of cat type would be Danny, after Dan John Jules, who played the cat in the dwarf. That'd be interesting. That's not too bad, actually. Danny is interesting. Robert Crumb created Fritz the Cat's comic characters in the 60s and Bakshi adapted. Yeah, I know that actually with Robert Crumb. It was adapted back in the day. Robert Crumb wasn't happy with the adaptation anyway, wasn't he? He wasn't happy with Bakshi's style and how he actually presented it out, really. Indeed. I forgot this actually from Ben Freeman. According to Wikipedia, when Mamas and Papa's song Monday Monday was released by Dunhill Records, my copy was bought, however, is on RCA Victor. Okay. I was looking at that. I didn't actually see that one. That's all popped up quickly. I've got some stuff from, I think like from EMI, I think. Or was it 2 Mamas and Papa's records? I think. Because I know Dunhill was sort of had an agreement with EMI back in the late 60s, I would say. Because I do want a Grace Hits one. I think it's Hits of Gold out on. I think. But it's pretty good. And this one I remember again of course, which was this 12-inch EP, I think it was called. 45 RPM had songs on it. Did I think California Dream and Monday Monday was on one side, and there was Chic Alley and Dedicated to the One I Love as well. Oh, yeah, that's a 12-inch thing. That's one of the first things I ever bought from Mamas and Papas. It was fantastic, really, pretty good. I do have 2 Mamas and Papas compilations of vinyl as well. That's good. I do want to as well, actually. I think Hits of Gold I mentioned. And I've got another one as well that I picked up from an Oxfam a couple of years ago. Probably not the best one, I would say. I think I would say on that front. I do own the second album, of course. The self-titled 66 album has some, has like I saw her again, and what's the other ones? No Salt on a Tail. But I believe song I remember. Oh God, I'm trying to think of that other song. Dancing Bear, that's it. You see the production team wanted his name removed from the credits. He didn't send the rights to the character over to Bakshi, but his wife did. Oh, okay. So his wife was involved in the whole thing of the rights, really, but he wasn't. Okay. But I sort of knew that Crumb wasn't unhappy with the film. Okay, I never actually knew that his wife was involved. That's interesting. Yeah. One of them is 20 Greatest Hits. Okay. 20 Greatest Hits. Oh, 20 Greatest Hits. That's not the one from. I'm trying to think, actually. It's not an image of them on a bus together, is it? Like on a like a scrap bus or whatever. I don't really know. I don't want to see. But I never knew about with Robert Crumb's wife, involved with the rights. I never actually knew that. Which includes California. Yeah, I saw her again last night. Oh, and then I think the version I've got is that says I saw her again. Really, I saw her again last night. It depends on what the song title is with that one. California Dreaming, good song actually. Because I remember he killed off Fritz shortly after the Backstreet film came out, but that didn't stop. Yes, only Steve Cranston. Yeah, I remember the 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat. Yeah, I remember that one. I do. I remember. Yeah, I remember that. I don't think it's pretty. It feels a bit strange actually when you look at it. Look to these the crazy 3-act thing that we mentioned last stream. To he's married. He's got a wife. He's got a kid, and that sort of thing. It all feels a bit strange really, and it goes into like multiple different lives of him, like trying to be Hitler's psychiatrist or something, or meeting a dog called God in an alleyway or something. That's the only sort of things I remember. I think that's only from the trailer that I remember from it. I'm very surprised Fritz the Cat's never made sort of like a little comeback, really, in a way. Obviously, DVD releases and everything else, but I'm surprised it's never made a comeback. Imagine if it did. Imagine if a third film come out. Skip Hinant. So that's the name of the voice. Yeah, Skip Hinant, the voice of him. Imagine doing something like that, really. Returning with a third film, or do something like he's old and he's embracing the new 21st century or something. It's like he's come out of a grave, like he's come out of a coma after how many 40 odd years or so. That would have been interesting actually, and obviously getting used to new stuff, of course, whole new technology and everything else. The way things change now, politics and everything. That would have been actually really interesting. Obviously, I compete, do sort of doing like an Austin Powers thing, really, in a way. That sort of thing. You probably think, you're ripping off Austin Powers or something. Well, that's one. It could be one thing. They've done it. Let me think that. Again, it's like film sequels sometimes. They can do a similar thing like that. Actually, I think of like the original intention for the RoboCop 2, which Ed Newman and Michael Mann did. I actually find it odd that despite Fritz the Cat being successful only in animation and cult films I'm trying to rephrase that. I actually find it odd that despite Fritz the Cat was being successful, only animation and cult film enthusiasts have ever heard of it. That's true, yeah. I mean, for me, I just stumbled upon finding a film poster of it in my secondary school, believe it or not. That's the first time I've ever heard of it. I've actually seen Fritz the Cat, actually, visually, just on that film poster. But yeah, I think it's sort of looked down on, really, in a way. Like people sort of like, what's that really? I mean, can you imagine putting on television these days? Like if you repeat on on Channel 4 or something, at 9 o'clock at night or something, on a Saturday evening, something like that. That would have been quite interesting, actually. Make it sort of different in a way. Maybe shock the public, and maybe people who probably watched it back in the 70s probably think, "Oh my God, really?" And people probably see it for the first time and think, what is this crazy film? Or whatever. It's like, it's like, oh my God, there's a lot of sex in this thing. It's like it goes very much like that, really. People might adjust it to it. I think, I don't know. Yeah, that could have worked. Maybe Fritz through the decade. Yeah, it would have been actually. I was going back to this, of course, when I mentioned RoboCop 2, which was called RoboCop: The Corporate Wars or something. Ed Newman and Michael Mann wrote this script. But I think it was sort of used in the RoboCop TV series in the 90s. Not that I'd rather not go near that thing really, with Richard Ede in the role. I think it's, but the original intentions for that was sort of like RoboCop was sort of in stasis or something, or stasis animation or something. Apparently, he wakes up years later in Detroit as Turner's Delta City. It's all gone totally like that. As a film, Fritz the Cat is a mixed bag, but I deserve it more respect than it does because animation could have died without it. Yeah. I think I do respect Fritz the Cat, of course. I mean, I do respect Ralph Bakshi for what he's done. Very eclectic stuff he's done in his filmography, I would say. I'm just trying to think of Ben Freeman's part. I've also heard 2 solo songs by Cass Elliot, aka Mama Cass, and it's getting better and make the kind of music. Indeed. That's interesting. So yeah, I think Fritz the Cat, obviously, that is I mean, it's sort of, I always see it as a landmark sort of 70s film, really. If you look at, I don't know if it's included in like that 1001 films you must see before you die. If you look at the 70s section, I'm not sure if it's in there actually. I don't know. But obviously, in that book I saw back in secondary school, of course, it was included in there. So it's like it could be just a recognisable Arthur poster. Really, it's like you look at the Warriors, you look at the original Alien, you could look at Westworld. That's the first time I ever came across Westworld, actually. When Simpsons did a parody of Fritz the Cat, I was the only one laughing. Really, I never knew Simpsons did a parody of Fritz the Cat. I never actually knew that. You know, or was it? It's not one of those. It's not one of those itchy and scratchy versions, is it? Or is it just like, or is it too with an episode involves like Homer or a bar going to animation or something, creating their own character for TV or something? I don't really know. Or something like a comic strip. I really don't know actually, because I never knew the Simpsons did parodied that sort of thing. It was a short. Okay. It was a short, itchy and scratchy cartoon. Okay, all right. So Scratchy falls in love. He does, and has a, has a bit of a sexual side to it. I don't know. I don't really know actually. I don't know because I've never actually seen that. Like, I see Simpsons now and again when I'm at work because people tend to watch Channel 4 in the morning. They do, so that tends to come on. That does Simpsons, but I've never actually seen stuff. Like that sort of parody of it. I don't know if it's a later one. I don't know if it's an early one or later one. I'm not too sure, really. Like, is it from like the golden age, like how the Simpsons we fondly remember it, or many people do, or is it like later on when it's like it's just like a squabbling dead horse or whatever? Speaking of Simpsons parodies, I've seen a parody that they did of Boston Grumble called Willis and Crumble, which is a parody of Boston Grumble and Curse and Whereabout. Oh God! I think the problem is when I saw this. Yeah, again, bring up parodies and stuff. I think the Simpsons at this point it's sort of losing again, losing its losing its run again, parodying over everything else. It's something like that, and it's animated in the same claymation style as Barman. Oh, it's an early one. So it's okay. So it's like golden age stuff. Okay, that's interesting. I always thought it'd be much later. I think in this case, with this, obviously, what Ben Freeman's put on would be much later, 2005 afterwards. So claymation, that actually that would be interesting. I've never actually seen that, so I don't know. That would be interesting. I mean, with parodies and also putting celebrities in those in Simpsons these days, it's tainted its buggery it is, I would say. I mean, I don't think Simpsons very much as I used to back in the day. The only sort of series I ever got was series 11, and that's probably one of the last great seasons ever, really, because I do enjoy that one actually. Interesting stories, quite interesting stuff on it, really. But I think after like that sort of bit, maybe 12 or 13, I'd probably say, is when they sort of stopped it, I would say. Simpsons had a lot of film references in the golden age. The showrunners will later make The Critic. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I've probably managed to get watching Simpsons again, the old stuff, really. If they keep referencing the old stuff. Might as well, actually. Might as well do at some point. Shows will make a critic. So you mean Matt Groening and all the others, like James L. Brooks and everybody else, makes the critic. Interesting. That name rings a bell. That title rings a bell, but I probably don't know what it really is. The Simpsons has got overboard references. I think so too. With celebrity cameos and everything else. Like the thing that this sort of comes up to my head as well. Is like it's like I'll be going now. I'll see you later. Bye. All right, Ben. See you later, mate. We'll see. I'll probably see you next week or something if you want to come on board again. I think with Simpsons, of course, it's like when someone like Lisa Simpson tells the name. It's like, oh look, it's Tony Blair, or it's Britney Spears, or Lady Gaga, or Paul and oh, what's her bloody name? Alex, what's that name? Alex, what was his second? What was his name after Linda? Oh God. Heather, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, going back to Fritz the Cat parody, despite Fritz the Cat being an X-rated film, Itchy Scratchy parody is surprisingly tame. Yeah, it is actually. Stuff like I mean, with that's all with Itchy Scratchy and everything else. I mean, it's a very sort of condensed, violent version of Tom and Jerry. But it's sort of like if you basically dismember, it's like Jerry dismembers Tom. Mostly, you can see like everything else really. Like you don't see blood, but the Lady Gaga episode is the biggest piece of shit ever. I'd never seen that. I've only seen pictures of it. Really, I've never actually seen that because I sort of really gave up on Simpsons. Really, once they got newer stuff on. I do remember seeing one with Elon Musk in. That's one. I mean, why? I think I saw them. So that sort of came on work when I was working. I think that sort of appeared on that. It's like okay, Simpsons on. Oh, this one features in a spaceship land in the Simpsons garden. Okay, it's like some are actually pretty good. Actually, I do think some featuring best celebrity ones. I think Beyond Bloodstone. I think it's actually a really good story. That's from season 11. That's with Mel Gibson in. That's pretty interesting. I think I have another one. Who are those two? There's a series I remember that I think people remember the American TV series. Those two guys come on, and they sort of educate Lisa, like she sort of runs away or something, being influenced by jazz. The only Simpsons episode I paid attention to was the Futurama crossover, and also it was so much wasted potential. Oh God, yeah, that thing, that crossover. I remember that. Yeah, I do. I remember it, but I don't remember watching the whole thing. The Michael Jackson episode, which got pulled, was good. Okay, that's interesting. There was one with U2, wasn't there? When he storms U2, I think, wasn't there? Like it was doing that. Oh, it's a late '90s thing when they have like that McDonald's stage on. I think in the late '90s. I remember that. It was I forgot the album they were promoting. It's called Pop, and they appeared on The Simpsons. They did 97, 98. This was around. They were sort of doing. They were doing it, and David Byrne, Talking Heads as well, appears as well. That's all later on. Trying to find the sounds of Springfield. Did you ever see the Simpsons guy, the crossover Family Guy and the Simpsons, or that Family Guy episode? Have you ever seen that one? If it's, if it's still, I don't know I'm not sure if everyone still remembers that really. You know, got crossover episodes with the Critic and the X-Files. The X-Files. Oh, I remember seeing that once. I do remember it involving the alien. Where was it? No, it was, no. See, I think one of there was. I remember the only thing I remember was the reveal. Also, was it Mr. Burns, green, and he's like sort of exposed to waste or something. It was he's going around the woods naked or something. I still, yeah, but I do remember that obviously. Bits of it, tiny bits of it. Anyway, but I know it's one of the best known crossovers ever. In terms of crossovers, I do remember the one with Mark Hamill as well. That's one of the early introductions to Simpsons I remember getting into. It's when Homer becomes oh God, I saw bits of Simpsons guy and I'm not impressed. Yes, I think it's. Yeah, I think obviously it felt a bit. I think it was too. I think it might have been too late at that point, really, in terms of when Family Guy and Simpsons were around because they were sort of dwindling. I would say they were more dwindling than ever, really. at that point. And obviously, having a crossover between them two, it's a bit late, really. They should have done it like, could have been like a movie or something like that. It could be a sequel to the Simpsons movie or something like that, you know, or, well, had to be toned down, of course, but I don't know. I think when it came out, obviously it was a bit too little, too late, really. Same with the Futurama crossover. Because was Futurama finishing at that point? Was it on its last legs or something at that point, or was it still around? Like people were still enjoying Futurama, you know, but was it sort of getting towards its end of its tenure at that point, end of its tether? I don't really know actually. What was I thinking of again? What was it? That episode, yeah, the episode with Mark Hamlet, yeah. I probably said, yeah, I would have said that was the first episode of Simpsons I ever saw. Because I remember seeing that DVD Bar Wars in shopping centres. I remember getting it actually, but it was a pirated copy I got, yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah, Simpsons and Family Guy had a rivalry in the this one, fuck it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because they thought like, well, let's do a crossover. Of course, I think it was like what can we do else? Like, what else can we do that's been really. Also, yeah, the Futurama crossover just happened about a year after Futurama Red. Ah, okay. So yeah, because I remember it was sort of like early 2010s. This was happening, really, and yeah, so just a year after Futurama finished. Okay, so I mean, it's like sort of like a last gasp of it, really. I mean, it's like, what else can we do with Futurama? Of course, it's like, you know, let's just do a crossover with the Simpsons. Of course, you know, like, you know, it's done by Groening, so you know, might as well incorporate it in. You know, I'm quite, you know, I think at some point you might end up with a Futurama crossover with Simpsons and Disenchantment or something. You know, or Simpsons and Disenchantment crossover or something, or Futurama Disenchantment crossover. I don't know really. I've seen Disenchantment recently. I think maybe last year. I think so. I only seen a couple episodes. Therefore, it's okay. Really, wasn't really fussed about it. Really, it was really something my sister was watching. Really, she was all binge watching that sort of stuff. You know, along with the UK version of Shameless and not Misfits. No, my mother was watching that. Sorry now. But you see some interesting stuff while I was doing the whole lockdown period, which is funny. So Disenchantment was one. I'm just trying to think. What do you think of Rick and Morty anyway? Is it, you know, obviously it's a great show, it's a it's a phenomenon material, of course, it's done well. I've only seen a couple episodes. My close friends who I've known for 20 odd years or so, I've tried introducing it to me, saying, you must watch Rick and Morty. It's fantastic. You know, it's like something you'd probably enjoy, Mike. It's something science fiction. It can be crude. It's something, you know, it's up your alley, really. I mean, it's good. I have to admit, design-wise, it's good, you know, interesting. Voice acting's good. Building characters and everything else. Visually, it's interesting. It can be batshit crazy when it wants to be, and yeah. But I think the thing was, it felt like obviously, I think it's on like Netflix and Adult Swim and everything else. I couldn't really access that really until, you know, unless you have someone actually has access to all this. Of course, I'm a close friend who probably let's watch Rick and Morty season 3 over a friend's house after a night. Rick and Morty is fantastic. If you pretend the fans do not exist. Oh god, yeah, the fandom. Yeah, I forgot about the fandom. Yeah, about that. You know, I think that's what many fans, in fact, many sci-fi really. I think with sci-fi, I think with fantasy as well. That's when that whole toxic fandom thing really comes into play. Really, it's more around them areas really. I would say again, the whole gatekeeping thing, very much that sort of thing. I don't really. I never actually found about anything about the Rick and Morty fandom really. I look at everything. It's a decent show, good animated show. You know, it's perfect, suits the bill. It's exciting, energetic, and everything else. I think for me, it's like I can't access it very much in a way. Like in terms of, I think back then I didn't have like Netflix or something really, or Amazon Prime or anything else really. Depends streaming service it comes on really because I didn't have those at the time. I probably might say it advertised on YouTube or something or TV or whatever. But I never seen much of it. But I know its legacy now, so it's a well loved show along with many others really. But I don't really tend to bother watching like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad. Although to be fair, I said about Game of Thrones, I wasn't really impressed with it. I remember seeing like the original Lord of the Rings, or the first two films of Peter Jackson's trilogy, Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers, and then that was the what was the other one? I didn't see the third one, or if it Return of the King. I never seen the third. I've only seen the first two because I love DVD. My parents did actually many years ago. So yeah, a lot of people abandoned Doctor Who because the fans of the fans, and yeah, Doctor Who fans are dickheads. Except you, of course, and except you, of course, and a few others. That's true. And actually, speaking of Doctor Who, of course, I did a review on Damaged Goods that come out recently, and guy called, what's his bloody username? Someone called ends with Raw, whatever, and he basically put, Dave's come back with a series. All you're doing is jerking off in your ear. That's all it was. Indeed, I think that's like one of the first times you saw like you talk about Doctor Who, of course, and then yet some dickhead decides to have a go at you and slag you off really just for no reason. That's what the comment was on Damaged Goods. It's sort of gone now. I think YouTube's automatically deleted it, so that's a good thing. I had some bad experience with HBO because The Sopranos was shite in The Wire. Oh. I never really get into HBO shows, really. In a way, I never actually do. Sopranos, never really seen The Sopranos. I saw it on was shite, and The Wire was shite as well. I never seen The Wire. I never seen that actually. Never seen The Wire. I know Idris Elba was in it, but that's about it. He's done better things since The Wire, so that could be a plus for his acting career, his promotion of Sky. Be one of those things. But actually, going back to the whole thing with the whole fan base and fans and everything else, I mean, because I started recently talking about Doctor Who, of course, the channel I've talked about in the live stream, of course, on this live stream. I've talked about a few videos, of course, because I really go back into it. I felt like it's really time to go back to it. And also, you get some guy to talk about, I think trying to deliver a point, but doing it in a totally crass, stupid way, saying that talk about a book that Russell T Davies has written, and obviously it's all brings on. He takes elements from that book and using the new in when he revived it. Of course, like the whole thing on the council estate, Tyler and saying Tyler sort of comes up, that sort of thing, and the apocalyptic bit at the end is sort of used in Next Doctor. The Sopranos is EastEnders with fucking mob, with fucking and mob aspects. That's true. That could be something. I don't know. Mob movies. I mean, stuff like Sopranos. I don't know because I can't really comment on Sopranos really because I never really seen the whole thing. I can't really. If it's a popular show, like it's an American popular show, I can't really get into it. It's not like 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. I really can't get behind it. It's like I really can't grasp the whole thing. Same with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Even though that's meant to be solid stuff. Same with Angel, I think so. But I really can't get behind it. If I watch it, something like just randomly stumble across it, maybe I might have seen one episode of Buffy. I don't know. It's like I watched. It's like I used to watch sometimes the old episode of Star Trek or something. Trust me, I make The Sopranos sound more entertaining than it is. Probably if I look at it, it'll probably look boring really because it focuses on mobster families. So that sort of thing. It's like, you know, why really? I'd probably say Boardwalk Empire might be the more interesting one. You know, gangsters, Steve Buscemi for a start. You know, again, never really seen that really. Again, that's Sky Atlantic, isn't it? So that's all. That could be one thing, really. Also think of what was I going to tangent again? Really, I mentioned the whole damaged goods thing. I can put that to one side. Oh yeah, because I was mentioning like Star Trek affairs because I've only seen like the random episodes. I've only seen 3, like the original series, Next Generation, and what's the other one? Deep Space Nine. That's the ones I saw. I like Twin Peaks as well. Oh, okay. And the only American TV show I really like is X Files. I think I might have seen X Files once, maybe. I mean, it's like in channel hop. This is the back of the days when I used to travel. When I had Sky, I used to channel hop quite a bit. And I stumbled across on stuff like, again, like X Files and Star Trek. Really, I've never seen Twin Peaks actually. The only sort of bits of Twin Peaks I've probably seen is when David Bowie was guest starring in it. I think this is like 91, 92, I would say. That's the only sort of bits I remember of Twin Peaks. Other than that, it's the theme. That's my mum kept playing constantly for the decades or whatever. You know, on the radio, just like constantly listen to that theme tune over and over again. You know, that's the sort of thing. That's the only thing I'm familiar with the Twin Peaks, even though it's still by David Lynch. I've only seen one Lynch film, and that's One Heart, with Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern. And currently for the third series of Star Trek, and honestly, some of the episodes are hit and miss. Third series of Star Trek, which one? The original Star Trek, or is it one of the? Was it Next Generation, or is it DS9? I've heard the films are better, or the Star Trek films. Or is it the X Files, or is it Twin Peaks? Because did the Twin Peaks do a film? I don't really know. Or did they not? Or was it just another TV series that come out? I don't really know. The original Star Trek. Okay, so there's 6 films. So yeah, I do know. I've never seen those actually. I've seen box sets or whatever. I do remember seeing a VHS collection. I think it's up to Final Frontier. That I remember a couple of years ago. The only David Lynch film I've ever seen is Twin Peaks. Fire Walk with Me. Because I know they did a film. Yeah. Yeah. I never seen Walk Fire with Me. I've only seen One Heart. That's from. I stumbled across on Netflix. Really, I thought that's what they would go. I thought it was actually a pretty good film. Actually, really good Nicolas Cage film. Interesting stuff with her and Laura Dern. It's actually pretty good stuff. Actually, I was quite impressed with it. Speaking of that, going back to the original Star Trek, I know the 6 films, of course, because obviously from 79 to 91, you've always get those people. You always get those dips ones. You get the high points, of course, like those are the odd ones, the worst ones, and the even ones are the better ones. Motion picture, not the best one. Wrath of Khan, brilliant. Search for Spock, yeah. Voyage Home, fantastic. Final Frontier, god awful. Undiscovered Country, the Undiscovered Country, good. I don't know actually. I think that's always a good sense. I've always known that Star Trek. Like people say, the even films for the original cast are better than the odd ones. Really, it's like some weird wavelength thing going on. I'm not sure about this Next Generation films as well. I'm not too sure about them either. Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis. I'm not too sure about them either. Can't. That is good. That is. That's that's a really good scene. That is. I mean, pretty good. They that is still good. That is. That's a really good good moment in the series, in the film series. I do like some music in number, and some actually the old main title by James Horner in the second one was actually pretty good. I never listened to it one time before. This is actually really good. This is the music, and that's actually pretty decent. It's like again, home, you know, so like, again, it's like there's always swashbuckler element to it as well. I mean, obviously, I recently got a box set with the original films and Next Generation films. Okay, so you basically got 10 films, really. Yeah, I think I've seen bits of Generations, I think, on TV once. Not First Contact. I don't think Insurrection as well. I do remember seeing Nemesis, I think when it came out on DVD, I think in 2002, 2003. I do remember seeing it constantly on the store shelves many years ago. But I just never really bothered really. I've only ever seen some episodes of the TV series, each of different eras really, but just channel hopping. I've never seen the films in total. I've only ever seen the reviews, the retrospective reviews of by Oliver Harper. So motion picture, I think he's done all of them except Voyage Home. Voyage Home. I think that's the one he hasn't done yet, and maybe the Generation films as well. But I do remember I sort of knew about them through him really. Obviously, getting a grip on like the production, everything else, like music, of course, the music, everything else. What was the original Shatner's original idea for the Final Frontier, that sort of thing. Yeah, probably saying so. I haven't watched Oliver Harper's videos in ages. I need to go back to them. He's done pretty good actually. I have to admit, you know, the retrospective reviews have actually been pretty solid actually. In a way, he used to subscribe to him actually, but I sort of just gave up really because when he did his documentary stuff, I really felt it started losing momentum really, and obviously he broken away from Richard and Duncan, which obviously, you know, the sort of main trio that they were at that point. They sort of split up. They did, and obviously, Valverde Broadcasting has done some really good stuff. They have, you know, with In and Broke, the drawback of one of a couple of risky Christmases at that point, and a few stuff as well. Looking back at the past, doing Q&As, some Let's Play stuff they do sometimes. It's been interesting, but I sort of fell out of touch with what they were doing. I mean, obviously with lockdown and things else, they did like watch longs and everything else, but in anything the same, we didn't really do anything much really. But so I'll go back to Oliver Harper's to see what he's been doing. But he's done quite a few retrospectives. He has stuff like Lost in Space, which I haven't seen for bloody years. Interestingly, so it's like, you know, I might as well see what his thoughts are really on this version of that, because, you know, the original sound version of it. Yeah, unless you're Ashens, when YouTubers make films, they're often called, you know, their quality production drops. That is true. Also, the Angry Video Game Nerd has dropped in quality more recent times. That is true as well. I never watch Angry Video Game Nerd. I'm not really that sort of watcher of him really. Ashens sometimes really, in a way, depends what he's got on. You know, if it's like, I think stuff that sort of really gets me going. Like if he's unboxing like a DVD thing, of course, I might as well. You probably like you watch him just go through like a DVD for like 50 minutes or something. You think, you know, oh god, it's this film. Chuck in the bin, or you know, I remember this. You think, oh, so this is like one of those weird films I remember seeing back in the cinemas back in 2000, 2001. And it's go, you know, so Mikey then Pal later. Like it shows off his different tastes when films. You think it's like, you know, you look at it and think, Jesus Christ, this piece of shit. This is, I'm going to throw away. It's like that deadpan humour stuff, really. But obviously, making films and everything else he's been doing, more projects, his content's been more dwindled a bit. Staying with like Channel Awesome in a way, with Nostalgia Critic, obviously a lot of people sort of got off him due to the whole allegation stuff that's been going on with one of the producers. Really, I think more the people more behind the scenes, and that sort of tainted Yeah, what's that? The video with him, Oliver Harper with Uncle Derek's video collection is fantastic. That is actually pretty good. Like, yeah, Uncle Derek's video collection. um, yeah, that's really good. You know, they pick up, they look at the cover and think, "Oh my god, this looks fantastic," and they actually watch the film, it's bloody shite. I seem to pick the worst three, and you picked the best ones like that. Also, like Mad Max and roller skates, and um, something to do with barbarians, but it's quite cheap and done. Yeah. Also, the one stuff with Film Brain is actually pretty good as well because there's some good stuff they did. Like there's one that played on Ash's channel, Film Brain. Pays, I think this pays off with a bag, of course. They just basically go through each of the films that he featured. I think Ash's might probably do some of these films, of course. But there's a good one that he did. It's called the Rollerblade 7 VHS is from the Wheel Zone. So that's what it is, the Rollerblade 7. Ah, okay. Oh, I don't know where Uncle Derek would probably get them from. I mean, depends where we all get from. We could probably get some weird films anyway. Yeah, I really like Film Brain, Matthew Buck, yeah. I think the one I really got introduced to when he did that special top 5 thing with Ashens and Oliver Harper of their cinema, the worst films I saw in the cinema. So I'm trying to think the top of my head what they actually chose. I know Harper chose Spawn, Alien AVP, Alien vs Predator Requiem, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, Godzilla. What was the other one he picked? Not really sure, really. Oh yeah, the worst films in cinema video. Yeah, that's what was introduced to Film Brain. He did some films like what Ashens picked. He picked Red Planet, Battle of the Five Armies, Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, Premonition, and what's that other one? Unsane, where they filmed iPhones. Matthew Bucks, I'm just trying to think what he picked. Adventures of Rocket and Bullwinkle, that's one. Keith Lemon the movie. Top Cat in 3D. What else? I think he did actually, yeah, because I think he mentioned he saw it advertised on it on the Grinch. All I can remember, I can remember this. Saw it on VHS. You probably think, well, it looks a good film. I could probably see it. And he mentions he mentions actually like it's the second one because there was one called Boris and Tasha as well previously. I think in the 90s as well. Like the same actor and actress, but no Rocky and Bullwinkle apparently. But I've never heard of Rocky and Bullwinkle actually. I've never seen it advertised on TV or whatever, so it's quite a completely new thing. So that film is sort of basically the real introduction, really, I would say. I think, speak of that film, what are you thinking of Space Jam, A New Legacy? What do you think of that film? Like, obviously it's been released, I think, early this year, but what do you think of it, actually? I think it's very Ready Player One. It's like that. Anyway, it's like, it's like some watered down, friendly sequel to that thing, or trying to build up an expanding universe or like that. Like, they start off with the book, they adapt the book, and they think, why not? Let's maybe just make a world about it, or make it like a separate bits and pieces out of it. Yeah, Boris and Natasha was made because they had the rights, to them, but not Rock and Bullwinkle. That's true. Yeah, because I remember they mentioned it, of course. And you think like, wait, what? There's only a film with just them two in. It seems strange. Of course. I got this. Also, this thing just popped up. Congratulations, you received 100 messages today. Restream chat. Seems to be like last time. It was just a notification. Probably never going to watch it. Never seen the original. Oh, you mean Space Jam? I've never seen Space Jam many years ago, a long time ago. I think that's when I had Sky, really. And to be fair, I actually didn't mind it. A lot of people tend to shit on that film, but I really do enjoy Space Jam. Obviously, it's quite strange in a way, in terms of like, it's like a sport movie because you focus on Michael Jordan, sort of losing his mojo, his energy, and it feels like his basketball skills and whatever being looked at by a bunch of aliens. If I'm spoiling the plot for you, if you're not interested, oh, depends if you're interested or not. Like, maybe not tempting you or anything. There's also the controversy that Pepe Pew was because of rape culture, and yet the Droogies appear in it. Is that? Oh, you mean the new one in the trailer? When, oh my god, yeah. Imagine they put all sorts of that thing. Warner Bros. Has basically took everything. Even Pennywise is in that bloody film as well. If you see like in screen, people probably do screen grabs and analysis of that. And you look at like the background, you think, my god, they basically put the whole kitchen sink in that thing. It's an interesting idea, actually. I'd probably say, with the whole reality different thing, but it screams Ready Player One. It does, really. I think people just do thinking like it's a rehash of that thing, really. But like you're basically saying, oh, we'll take you to this one world, take you to two, well, we'll take you to whatever, Penry Pew. Well, that's true. I mean, because of social justice warriors and everything else, I can probably think, maybe. Again, people are too sensitive, really. I mean, what's wrong with that? They could probably get away with some like Foghorn Leghorn or something. They can probably get away with any others. Yeah, if Warner Bros. Owns it, puts it even to make no sense. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the trailer for A New Legacy, it's basically just like some of it doesn't really focus on the Looney Tunes as much, really. It focuses on all of the stuff like Hanna-Barbera, Iron Giant. You think a little bit of Game of Thrones reference there as well. You basically put everything in, including the Droogies as well from Clockwork Orange. It just seems very odd, very strange. Whereas the original film did something pretty good. I mean, it's like just like do with aliens trying to take over the Looney Tunes world, turn into like a theme park wasteland or whatever or something, and basically play a game of basketball to get their freedom. Maybe save their own world, really. And you have the assistance of Michael Jordan. That's really about it, really, in that sort of story with Space Jam. And it was more concise, and it actually was a really. I'll give it credit. It does have heart to it. It does. It has some. It has lovable moments. It sort of works in a way. I think. Same with I think same with Back in Action. If you ever seen that film as well. God, yeah, that was something. Part of the whole Brendan Fraser part, of his filmography. Some of the worst. It's probably one of the weirdest things he appeared in. I think Monkey Punch's probably the worst, unless I don't know. The original Space Jam website is still up and has never been touched since 1996. Really? So it's still on there. That's surprising. Well, I think people. Well, I know some people tend to archive stuff as well, actually, in terms of old save it, really, in a way. Indeed, I'm just going to check my camera. Sorry. Yeah, I think you do. I think most websites don't tend to, really, as I've noticed. But some people tend to like save them, really, or like archive them. It's like with the original version of the Doctor Who website back in 2005 when they did like the whole when it was like Coulter thing, was like the whole thing of like episode guides from the classic series, from Unearthly Child to the TV movie. Also includes stuff like Dimensions in Time as well. With all photo galleries, and ebooks and everything else, photo novels as well. Even though some stuff doesn't probably work, you probably think, oh, I can go for an ebook and look at The Wild Man of War or Sands of Time or The Scales of Injustice. As a novel with some illustrations and everything, you could probably read that. or do a photo novel like with the 10 snap reconstructions on there, you probably look at, like do Power of the Daleks or Massacre of Galaxy 4, whatever. But that's all gone now, really. I think ever since Moffat took over, it really sort of changed everything. It sort of got rid of everything else, like all the meat and goodness out of it sort of gone. You have to keep paying to renew the IPs, and most end up running out of. What's it? Let me look. You have to keep paying to renew the IPs, and most end up running out. But Warner kept paying to keep up. Oh, okay. So they still keep most of the properties anyway, the IPs, properties, everything like the distribution wise. I think because it probably sells really. Depends what's popular. Again, Clockwork Orange, that'd probably be popular. Some people probably still stream on Netflix if it's a good, if they enjoy it, if it's a, again, like, it's a cult film to them. It's a film that means well to them, of course. They've probably seen it back in the day, or against, new version of it, or anything like that. That sort of thing. Because Warner Brothers, always have the eye on different eyes, really, in a way. That sort of thing. They always keep the mark out, really. Speaking of which, speaking of movie studios, that Amazon's bought MGM. I found about that recently through Calvin Dyson, James Bond extraordinaire. Bond fan, entrepreneur type fella, mentioned that MGM's been bought by Amazon. So that's gonna be sort of interesting. So I don't. But obviously there's some stuff going on saying maybe No Time to Die might be, it's first premiere on Amazon Prime. I don't really know actually, but who knows? It'll probably be in theatres first, I'll probably say, which I'm looking forward to go back into. See some good old films back in the day. But it would be strange, because MGM's got a load of properties that they probably use, and it'll just be on Amazon now. If you have to pay for it or get it for free, I don't know. Depends how they do it, really. So I thought I was bring that up. Don't know if that's ever been mentioned or anything like that, or come across your way. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to resume on Star Trek. So good night. Yeah, I might as well end the stream now, actually, because it's getting a bit late. But thank you, David Film Bloke, for joining me for a good hour or two. Having a nice, decent chat, and we'll continue this on next week. Maybe on Wednesday, I would say. I'll probably do one on Wednesday. It'll come up and pop up anyway. But have a good night, sir. Enjoy your remaining of your marathon of Star Trek. Best of luck, mate. Have a nice time. Just give me a few more minutes and a few more seconds and I'll end the stream. Put this on here just in case. Just in case. And yes. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week. And I'll sort this out now.